Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Tales of Berseria. So, last episode, of course, we finished that dungeon that we had been working on for the past few episodes, and what an ending it was. Anyways, as mentioned last episode, we are at Titania right now, because there's a cat's box that we're missing, which would be number 58. The last one I've been able to find on any map. And then there's an event within Titania. So if we take a look here, let's see, the event is way down here. Okay. And the cat's box is on B2. Sounds good. So let's head on in. I think we're going to go for the cat's box first. Because if we go up here, this should lead right to it. Right. And luckily there's no mobs really here. So it's pretty much all cleared out. Not too worried about those cat spirits, considering, assuming this is the last chest, I don't think we're going to need any more cat spirits now that we finished the other dungeon, unless there's another use for them. I don't know. No, we need to go on downstairs once more. That'll take us down to B2. Titania, even with the amount of times that we've been here, I still have never figured this place out. So just a big maze of hallways. Alright, so here is our cat's box. Let's go ahead and grab that. 275 cat spirits. Yes, we'll take that. And we got the Fluffy Rolo. A Fluffy Rolo doll for those who love chubby cats. And achievement unlocked, cat's person. Okay, so that was the very last cat's box, because that achievement is for opening all the cat's boxes. So Fluffy Rolo, there we go. There is Rolo. Haha. Alright, do we want, I don't know, do we want to give that to Laufey? I don't think so. I liked Repeat a lot more than I liked Rolo. So, I can't bring myself to replace. I'm more of a dog person, though. I love cats, don't get me wrong. I love all fluffy animals, but I am more of a dog person. Plus, I loved Repeat in Berseria so much more. So, we're going to go ahead and stick with Repeat. Alright, so the event that we are looking for, your event is in another castle. Okay, we're going to come down in this direction. I wonder if this is a quest, or otherwise, I don't know. Ah, there's a pirate here. Ahar, pirate! I can prepare beds if you need rest. Yes. Because apparently there's an event here.
The oldest known map of the world was made by... Wow! It took them decades!
You always look so happy when you've got your nose in a book. What's so interesting about the one you've got there?
It's a book about surveying. When I read it, I can imagine myself traveling afar and making maps of the world. It sounds like so much fun.
I know just how you feel. I know Magilu and the others don't understand. But I just can't help but feel excited when I think about us completing a map of the entire world.
It's the thought of treasure that gets me more fired up.
Obviously, there's treasure waiting to be unearthed too, but that's more of a bonus on the side. Crossing uncrossable oceans, going to lands where none have gone before. The voyage itself, the dance with death, these things hold value greater than that of any treasure.
Ah, adventure! Truly the romance of the quest we call life.
Laufey said you had a map, didn't you? The one you dropped when we first met?
It's a world map I got when I was with the Abbey, but I only checked out the places really close by. I could hardly call it adventure.
There's more to adventuring than visiting far-off lands and sailing stormy seas, you know. Adventures are about achieving your ambitions and leaping across the walls we've built to protect ourselves, no matter the danger that waits on the other side. There are no big or small adventures.
Even if I only went to Helavis and the Figol ice caps?
Think of it like this. When you sneaked out of town without the Abbey noticing, when you walked the land and compared it to your map, how did that make you feel?
It was scary, but fun. Exhilarating.
Then it was an adventure. The map you made within yourself is a treasure that's only yours.
Wow! My very own treasure!
I wonder if that's tied to maybe completing the map. I don't know. Oh, there's another event. Maybe these are tied to like the expeditions that we were doing and I just never noticed them before. Alright.
Did you ever figure out if that bug was a stag or a rhinoceros beetle?
Actually, I still haven't really looked into it.
Why not? Weren't Rokuro and Aizen pretty curious to find out too?
They're why I haven't. They both have really strong opinions, and they both make a believable argument. And if I determined it was a new kind of beetle entirely, my decision would change the very course of their fates.
Their fates? I think you're exaggerating things.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
We're still hashing out what that Rhino-Stagros really is. Kiddo here's holding off on his final decision because he's worried about how you'll take it.
You're both adults. Can't one of you just give in so we can move on?
It's a rhinoceros beetle. I'm not backing down on that.
No, it's a stag beetle.
Why not just take off the pointy bits? Then we can all agree it's just a plain old beetle. Simple.
Sounds good to me.
Don't even joke about that. If you took away my swords, I wouldn't have anything left. Same thing goes for a stag beetle and its pincers.
And taking away a rhinoceros beetle's horns is disrespectful to its way of life, and to even suggest it is just plain wrong. No, if we're going to argue it out over this, we need to exhaust every possible angle before coming to a conclusion. It's the right thing to do.
Madam Eleanor! Here's that field guide to rare insects of Midgand you wanted me to get you.
Thanks, Bienfu. Surely this book will have something about that bug. Yeah, here it is. This beetle's real name is... Argonathocrassus, the thick-jawed beetle.
It's named for its jaws? That must make it a stag...
It's a drone beetle. The field guide says it's a really rare variety, too. I guess that's that.
No, you're wrong. It's a brand new species. I call it the Laphicet Rhino-Stagros. That's my decision, and I'm not backing down.
They are still carrying on about that beetle. It's great. Oh, there's more events. How many events does this guy have? He's gonna take all my gold just sleeping.
How many times do I have to tell you? You just don't get it! You're the one who doesn't get it! You're just making a lot of trouble where there shouldn't be any, old man! What did you just call me? Say that again, I dare you!
Both of you, shut up already! You're making so much noise that I'm tempted to devour your heads just to get some peace and quiet! Honestly, I find it odd how you pirates, who are on the same side, are always fighting. Yet you don't hesitate to rescue shipwrecked Abbey sailors who are your enemy.
What's so hard to understand about that?
You're treating your ally like your enemy, and your enemy like your ally.
Seriously? You still have a lot to learn, apparently. What the hell does the Abbey teach you, exorcists? You talk all about going around helping people, but you don't know the first thing about sailing.
Are you implying that the first thing about sailing is to help your enemies?
I can't explain it to the likes of you. Benwick, you explain it to our esteemed exorcist here. Well, you see, when somebody out at sea is in trouble, we don't refer to them as allies or enemies. You might think nothing of being aboard a ship, but take a moment to think about how vast and deep the ocean is. Now imagine if you weren't on a ship, if you were out here alone. Sends chills down your spine, doesn't it?
I guess I can't argue with you there.
Out on the sea, even just a single board of driftwood can mean the difference between staying afloat and succumbing to the depths of the water. That's why even when we raid and sink a ship, we pull up anybody who took for the water, and we bring them aboard. I know it sounds hypocritical to attack someone's ship and then rescue them out of the water, but that's just the way things are on the sea.
You pirates are an interesting bunch.
Plus, if the people we rescue end up getting another ship, we can attack them again and take all their new loot. You don't go and kill every last prickle boar in the forest, or else you won't have any more to hunt later. It's the way of the world.
And my faith is gone. Alright, but why were you two fighting to begin with?
Oh right, that! I remember why. Benwick here came up and started squeezing lemon juice on the perfectly fine fried chicken I just made. Who wouldn't do that? It's normal. The way you drench it takes away all the seasoning and complexity of flavor that I worked so hard to get right! No way! You have to at least put that much on, or it's not worth eating at all.
Forget about the chicken. Who wants to douse these two in a bucket of water instead? Make it ice water.
I wonder when these events even came up. Just so many events. There's more. Yes, more events.
Dial, Medusa wants to use some octopus demon to make dinner tonight. Let's go catch some together.
Okay, sure. We can go as soon as I'm all done here.
Okay, but hurry.
You and Kamoana seem to have become really good friends.
Yeah, I guess she's really latched on to me.
I think it meant a lot that you protected her when we were attacked at Titania. She told me that lizards usually feel cold to touch, but that you have a warm heart deep down.
That's not me at all. I'd have run away if I had my tail back, but I'd already gotten surprised and dropped it. So what else could I do but fight?
Oh yeah, I guess you'd lost your tail, hadn't you?
Has Kamoana stopped trying to scare you after that?
It looks like it, yeah. Long enough for my tail to regrow again, at least.
Oh, it's back. I didn't see. Boo!
Ah!
Oh no, his tail!
Kamoana, sweetie. You know better than to scare Dial.
But he's being so slow. He kept me waiting too long. But I'm sorry.
I was about to say, don't cry
It's
again.
alright. It'll grow back again. And besides, lizard tails make the best bait for octopus demons. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. Now how about we go catch us some dinner?
Yay! Let's go, Dial. Let's go.
Alright, that seems to be all the events. And I didn't see anything else here on the Titania map. So, let's go ahead and warp out of here. And I think the next place that I want to check just really quick is Cat's Corner. Because now that we've found every cat's box, is there anything new here? It looks like that is a big no. Huh, okay. I was hoping there was something, you know, after finding all the cat's boxes. I'm surprised that Cat's Corner there really isn't anything to do here. Like, once you come here one time, I mean, there's the vendor. That's about it, really. But I wanted to stock up on supplies anyway, so let's see. Let's go ahead and stock up on things like maybe a couple elixirs. We're now shop level 14. And we got the unnamed ring. This simple and highly effective equipment was created by the no maker. Yeah, that's the one that gives us the invulnerability, right? Yeah, 7 seconds of invulnerability at the beginning of the battle. So everybody should have a ring, though, that they're working on. Alright. And then I guess next up, do we want to head for Arthur the Exorcist quest, maybe? The Norman in Rolain is in Lothringen. So we'll go ahead and warp over to Lothringen. And I guess we'll go check this quest out. So let me go ahead and save real quick. And it looks like they are upstairs. Alright. I wonder if we're going to unlock, like, a way up the tower. Like, through that door that, like, never opened. I'm still curious. Oh, what's this? We've already spoke to all those Malakim over there, but let's talk to this Katz. Or this Norman, I mean.
Hey, I've got a question. Were you one of the Norman who traveled with Artorias?
Why, sure! Are you a relative of his or something?
Tell me, what happened here?
No can do. That ain't something I can just go blabbing about.
I'm a follower of Melchior's, who in turn stood behind Claudin. Please, we'd like to know.
Well then, this place is where Claudin died. It all happened more than 10 years ago. Claudin had taken an oath never to kill, but he broke it to save the life of Artorias, his most beloved disciple.
Another death on his hands.
Nah, Artorias didn't do nothing wrong. There was no other way Claudin could have saved the boy. Besides, Claudin had nearly stretched that oath to its limits. Claudin believed in the purity of Artorias' spirit. He entrusted his hopes and the very future of the world to his disciple. Sad thing is, Artorias just kept blaming and blaming himself for the death of his master.
That sounds like him.
So he tried to do everything he could to live up to Claudin's ideals, with no one else to help. He traveled the world teaching folks about Malakine and them dreadful demons, and how important it is to have a pure heart. But people had lived in peace so long, they didn't care for his stories. And in the end, the four Empyreans drifted into slumber. Once again, Artorias felt he had nobody to blame but himself.
So what did he do?
He started talking about how if we stuck with him, he'd turn us into demons. So he journeyed to the east, all by his lonesome.
He went east.
Say! How is Artorias doing these days? What's he been up to?
Lost
Thanks
his
for
mind.
sharing your story. I know it must not be the easiest thing to talk about.
Midgand has become a dangerous place. You should go back to Norman Island before you turn into a demon.
So, our young head exorcist, racked with despair and helplessness, gave everything up and headed to the east! So then, to Eastgand, I guess?
Maybe to a ball.
Velvet, why don't we stop in a ball? I feel like we're being called there.
That's what you just
Yeah,
said.
I feel it too.
Alright then, to a ball. And I totally missed it. I tabbed out for just a second to check something. And I noticed on Steam that we got the Refreshing Conversation achievement as well. So that one I think is for doing 95% of the skits in the game. Like the little skit events. I will say that this game has a lot less skits than some of the earlier games. I will say these skits are generally a bit longer and a little bit more developed, I guess. But I know, like, Vesperia, I know I talk a lot about Vesperia, it was just my favorite, I played it a ton. But if I recall correctly, that one had like 1,000 skits, whereas this one has like 500, but like I said, these ones are a little bit longer, a little bit more developed, I think. So, you know, Vesperia would have a lot of like little short skits, had a lot of longer ones too, but a lot of shorter ones. This games tend to be decently long, you know, a minute, 2 minutes, per, sometimes even longer. Okay, it looks like Velvet's house. Around the grave, it looks like, of her sister and, or of Celica and her unborn child. So, I guess that's what we'll find out the next bit. Oh, there's another Norman here.
Once I saw this place, it all started to make sense. Artorias must have lived a happy and peaceful life here.
Who are you?
Who, me? I'm a Norman who traveled the continent with Artorias years ago. He's been on my mind quite a lot lately. So I followed a rumor that led me here.
That Princessia. Were you the one who put it out?
Nope, wasn't me. It was already here when I arrived. Do you know the deeper symbolic meaning behind the Princessia flower?
It can mean an irreplaceable treasure, or that you wish them well for years to come.
Then the one who planted it was...
Yep, that's right. The person lying in this grave saved the life of a certain someone who had been worn down and broken by his mission. Thank you. The poor fellow. He was always so serious. So deadly, deadly serious. And he was practically always being strangled by his own conscience. So much so that he deluded himself into believing he needed to erase the emotions of the human race he so dearly loved. Please, if I may, somehow, some way, set the poor guy free.
Oh, I intend to. But my version of setting him free might be a bit different from yours.
Well, I'm still counting on you, Lord of Calamity.
I think I understand Artorias' past now.
Yeah. No matter who you are or how far up the chain you climb, life never entirely goes your way.
You said it. As much as he claims to be a man of reason, he still managed to give in to sentiment enough to plant flowers here.
Not only can he not protect the ones he loves, he can't even permit himself to be free.
Indeed. But I think that's human nature, too.
I suppose. But I'd also say he has an inner strength like no one else. He lost his master and his wife, and yet he overcame those failures to rise again as the shepherd.
I get that. But it doesn't absolve his crimes. I have to settle the score with him.
Yeah.
I'll be with you until the very end, Velvet.
Are you sure that's really something you want to say in front of your sister's gravesite?
All the more reason. She should hear this.
Honestly, it's kind of a little bit sad, you know? Like, Artorias... I don't know. I mean, like I've said before, I mean, I can justify his actions as well as Velvet's, in a sense. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit sad, I think. But anyways, it looks like that finished that quest. So, I guess that's all of that. Now, like I said, I know that there is a skit at the Empyrean's throne. So I think that's where we're going to head to next. I think the quickest way to get there would be to go to Zexen East entrance. There we go. Right? Yeah, Eastern entrance. Okay, and we'll just pop on over to the Empyrean's throne and see what that event is about. Alright, so right up here, looks like we've got a... Is that a katz? Yeah. Huh.
Hi there. If you need scratch for your trip, then look no further than Les Katz's corner store. Meow.
What? No white turtles?
Maybe he caught a cold and decided to stay in bed and sleep.
Just the opposite, Meow. You might even say he's had an awakening, Meow. He's seen the truth of this crazy world, Meow.
What are you going on about?
Whatever it is, I'm worried about him.
Then you should visit Cat's Corner, Meow. I heard there's a turtles there waiting for you guys to show up, Meow.
Cat's Corner, huh? Wonder what he's doing there.
Okay, so he's at Cat's Corner, the Stray Cat General Store. Let's see what they've got. It doesn't look like anything really new or useful at all. Best I can tell. Nope. Okay, so anyways, I guess we're going to head on over to Cat's Corner. We've got a quest here called All About Turtles. Okay. So we'll go ahead and warp on back to the Danon Highway, and then we will head to Cat's Corner. I wonder what that Turtles wants. I knew that looked like his backpack, but, Ah. Aha! There he is. Hey. Oh dear, a Turtles with a wounded heart is about to start a new dark chapter of his history. It will be a time of his youth that he can never take back. I'm a bit jealous. So I guess we gotta come around this direction.
Toidles in the house.
What's that song?
Toidus. Everyone loves them Toidles. It's called The Hymn of Toidles. It's an old family song. A real blast from the past.
They're deep voices and like kid bodies.
It's a cursed song. One meant to put chills down your spines. But it's almost a waste to sing to use, pipsqueaks.
What? I don't understand a word you're saying.
You will soon enough. Trust me. You like how nice and dark this shell is?
Hold on, are you white turtles?
You've turned down a dark path. A path that yous all sent me down?
We did?
Yeah! And now I'm gonna cook you a new one!
What?
Cook him a new one? Why?
And not just Laphicet. I'm gonna cook yous a new one too, sister! And Rokiro and Aizen and Magalu, you guys are getting cooked too! I'm up to my shell in debts! And it's all because of yous guys and your discounts!
Huh.
I'm so into reds, I got sold off to be made into turtle soup! They were dressing me up with spices and everything, planning to make a whole feast out of me!
I still don't understand a word you're saying.
I want it all's back. I want the good old days, when I was young and now my heart and shell, they's all gone dark as the soy sauce I was marinated in. Yes. Now I am dark turtles! Because of yous, my old life is gone forevers.
What?
Behold the salty soy darkness that stews within my heart!
Oh man,
Those
it's a
meanie!
boss. Dark Turtles, level 96, 160,000 HP, weak to fire and water, resistant to earth, and weak to martial arts.
I can't believe he actually turned.
Killing Flash! When I'm
Thanks,
this close, I
Rokuro.
will guess! Form zero!
Wow, every time.
Blast like you're gonna be double.
He's like, oh, there's dialogue in this? Let me make sure and pop my mystic art.
Double hit!
Team! Pyrotechnic ring!
Meanie!
Better one this
Hurricane! Deception! For 3! For 4!
No mercy!
I love this Dark Turtle stuff.
Carpenter
The soy sauce turtle.
Oh,
Whoa.
flurry of 1,000 fishes! Carp! Butterfly fish! Goby! Flounder! This is my final fury! Turtles forever! Double haze! Turtles!
What was that finisher?
Meanie!
After doing that dungeon though, he's actually not too bad. He's not nearly as high of a level as when we did the battle there on Norman Island. Like the Harbinger of the Inquest or whatever. Okay, I am going to need some souls though. So I'll tell you what, I think I've got a soul bottle lying around. No, I don't. Okay. Arcane bottle.
Who told
Okay.
you? You could use items!
What?
Double haze! No escape!
He did that finisher because I popped an item and he got his health back up.
Twin whip!
What?
Here's no mercy! Wounds I won't heal! Carpenter
Like his health got fully healed.
Blade of Heaven's will! Here's my enemy!
And I'm assuming that has to do with popping items.
For 5!
There we go.
Element of creation!
You won't get away!
Deception! Kaido! No escape!
Fatality! Let's it drop! Let's it drop!
For 1! Come! Meanie! Deception! Hurricane!
God. He's actually not too bad though. I mean, it's not like he's doing like massive damage at all.
No escape! Forever! Armor crusher!
First aid!
Turtles forever! Oh my gosh, stop it. Them combos though. Like we need him as a party member.
Oh, flurry of 1,000 fishes! Carp! Butterfly fish! Goby! Flounder! This is my final fury! Here it comes!
Ready to feel
No
the
escape!
Zero damage.
Troubles received by balancing!
God.
Crow there!
He does some work, I'll tell you
Here
what.
it comes!
Atlas split!
Twin whip!
Meanie! Leave me alone! Kaido!
Oh my gosh.
Her troubles received by balancing!
Meanie! Leave me alone! Hurricane! Armor crusher!
Alright.
Double haze!
He's about
No
down.
escape! Kaido! Shooting star! Form 7! Deception! Killing Flash! When I'm this close, I won't miss!
Alright,
Form
Rokuro's
0!
got him.
Thunder!
Alright. That was random.
My body, it feels salty yet sweet.
This is it then.
Careful, Velvet. If you eat too much salt all at once, your blood pressure will go through the roof. Truly, he's not a very appetizing color.
Though he does remind me of those noodles from Eastgand.
I wasn't actually going to eat him. Although we do like our flavors thick in Eastgand.
You guys just don't get it, do you? The flavor's packed in, but I'm still low in sodium. And with plenty of omega-3s, I's good for your skin, too's.
More pride than sense.
It's not like I wants to tell yous all this, but I've been marinated so much. I's got no life ahead of me but to become the best stews anyone's ever tasted.
Velvet, don't make the guy cry.
How is any of this my fault?
Simmer down, Meow! Don't worry, Dark Turtles. You're not cooked yet. Yeah. As long as you don't lose hope,
A better tomorrow is sure to come along. Meow.
Your words are too kind. It's like more salt on my wounds.
Oh, it sounds like what you need is the cat's pajamas. Meow.
Cat's pajamas?
It's a fun place to unwind, have a few drinks with friends, and cleanse the soul of all life's problems. Meow.
Can it really cleanse any soul? Even one as dark from soys as mine.
Where there's a will, there's a way. It's not a matter of can or can't, meow. The cat's pajamas is where go-getters can get together. And grown-ups only. You have to be 2,000 to enter, meow.
Ah, that's no good. I's just a 999-year-old juvenile.
With turtles, nobody can tell the difference anyway, meow. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's the key to getting the most out of cat's pajamas and really life as a whole. Meow. Take that to heart, and you can tell everyone you've got the inner wisdom of a 9,999-year-old. Meow.
You know, I think I'm starting to feel ready to take on the world again, like I used to. I'll give this cat's pajamas a shot and see if it can cleanse my soul.
Sounds
turtle
great,
dance.
meow. Allow me to show you around, Dark Turtles. We'll get you set up with all sorts of nice drinks, meow.
So, what is the cat's pajamas?
Well, Eleanor?
I haven't the slightest idea.
It sounds like a good time. We should go and check it out.
Let's not. That's not a path worth going down.
After all that, I still have no idea what the point was. Maybe there wasn't one to begin with.
Oh no. I think today's events hold some significance. Just what'll become of that turtle's heart after the cleansing, though, is hard to say.
Okay, we did get the Dawn of Darkness achievement. Sorry, my dog was wanting my attention. And then we got 136,000 XP. We got 12,000 gold and 20 grade for that. A couple maxed items. Let's see. We also got a Haggler's Acerite, and a Huggable Sophie. It says Sophie at your side for those who know what Valkinus Crius are. Alright. And let's take a look at this Huggable Sophie. There, there we go. It's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Alright, so we still can't, no, we can't go in the cat's pajamas. Alright, let me go through the map and see if there's any other events anywhere. And then I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, I just had a long look through the map. That does seem to be everything. I don't see any events or anything on the map. All of our quests are done and taken care of. So I do believe that's most everything. I mean, it's not to say that there's not some missing things. I don't know for sure.
Oh, don't tell me I have the hiccups now.
The way that Tails is, I mean, there could be a few things maybe tied to New Game Plus or something like that. I don't know for sure. If we take a look here at the skits, looks like we have Appleboo. You can unlock this chat for 500 cat spirits. Oh, you can actually buy them. Yeah, we didn't get the Appleboo skit. But I mean, looking through here, I mean, we have the majority of them. Let's see. Sub-skits. The 12-year sickness later. Found cloud sheep egg later. Don't let them mix. Cooking with a Karos Eisen's improvement. None of you like spinach. Yeah, that sounds like probably a little skits tied to everybody's cooking. Maybe. Bien Fugo. Kurigane's break time. Master Chef for Laphicet, Rokuro, Magilu, Eleanor Eisen. That's all, chances are, cooking related stuff. Palmier Memories. Orthian Rust. Dials Molting. Dials Tale Part 1. Dragons and Dinosaurs. Palmier Memory. Okay, that's it. So, not a whole lot of skips that we missed, to be honest with you. We got most of them. So, let me warp back over to somewhere. We'll say Beardsley. The town that never had anything in it. And we'll just pop up here and save real quick. If only this town had a save point. Is there one in the end? Okay, there we go. I was about to say. We'll go ahead and save, and then we'll check out. I want to show you guys what happens when you go to New Game Plus within Tales. Alright, so New Game Plus, let's go ahead, and we're going to load this most recent save that we just made. Yes, load that. Okay, now here's one thing that I absolutely love about Tales. I've always thought this is amazing. Okay, right here, it says we have current grade 0 out of 5,747. This is how much grade that we've earned in that save. Okay, 5,747. And this is how much we've spent. And so what we can do is, like, come over here and you can see prices on everything. And there's all this different stuff here. So we could say we want to carry over our library. Every creature that we've seen, every item that we've collected, all that stuff. We can carry that over, and it actually costs 0. This doesn't cost anything for that. So if we hit carry over library, it says it moves over everything other than your play record. It doesn't carry that over. Titles, so any titles that you've unlocked, title levels, completion of unlocked requirements, and your player records. We can carry that over for 50. So let's go ahead, we'll carry that over. Shop levels, so like right now we are at shop level 14. If we carried it over, we would still be at 14 on the new playthrough, which is really, really cool. We'll go ahead and carry that over. Equipment proficiency. It says proficiency, it's only available if carryover titles has been selected. But all the equipment proficiency that we've unlocked for every character, we can bring that over. So all the equipment that we've maxed, which was nearly everything that we came across, except for some of the very, very late game stuff, we can carry all that over. And even stuff that we haven't maxed, we still get to carry over the percentage towards max with that. Art use count, we'll bring that over, because the more you use arts, they level up. There was a whole tutorial about that early on, so we could carry that over. So a lot of our skills would start out already maxed or whatever they got to. Ventite, so those potentites that unlock game mechanics, we can carry those over. Yeah, let's take them. Glassites that add skills to equipment, let's go ahead and carry those. Acerites and Ignicites affect equipment drops and enhancements, we can take those. We can carry over all of our recipes and cooking levels for all characters. Ingredients are not inherited, that's fine. We'll take that. Over exploration, so all the the entire map that we explored, we can carry that over. Fashion items are not included and will have to be found again. Okay. Cat spirits, whatever, we'll put it on there. Maybe, we'll see. I'm gonna leave that one unchecked right now. I'm not too worried about our current cat spirits. Tails coins, I'm not worried about. Consumable items, so all the materials that we unlocked for weapon upgrading, all the healing items, stuff like that, we can bring those with us. 600, we'll go ahead and take that. Special items, such as bottomless Denor bottle, bottomless Enoff bottle, we can take those with us. They can't be used until we get the ability, but that just means the Denor bottle and the Enoff bottle abilities. It doesn't mean the actual bottomless ones. So we could have bottomless bottles sooner. So we'll go ahead and take that. That's only 50, not bad. All the fashion items that we've unlocked, we can take that, including geoboards and stuff. We'll take those. Herb enhancements, inherent stat boosts granted from herbs, we can take all those. So all the herbs I popped on, say, Velvet, she would still have them in the new playthrough. We'll go ahead and take that. That's actually really expensive at 1,000. Expanded item capacity increases carrying capacity for non-material consumables from 15 to 30. So instead of only being able to carry 15 life bottles, we'll be able to carry double that in the next playthrough. We'll go ahead and take that. Double art learning speed, halves level requirements for learning arts. Sure, we'll take that. Sounds good. There's also a level up bonus, adds level up bonuses to all titles. Some stat increases may be reduced, but they will not go below 0. So it looks like we can level up titles a little bit farther, I think. Always wandering, doubles the chance for encountering wandering enemies. Huh. So basically, I think kind of like what the Dark Bottle did, like extra enemies coming into the battle, that's what Always Wandering does. Wandering. Character Changer regenerates 50% of BG used for Switch Blast, essentially halving the cost for using them. So you can change characters more often, a little bit easier in battle. We've got double XP. Doubles experience earned, it stacks with triple experience to give 6 times the normal amount of experience. You can see that double XP is 700, triple XP is 3,000. Absolutely crazy. There's also half experience. It says defeating enemies while at a lower level increases the amount of grade earned. So, could be useful. There is double gold. Doubles the amount of gold earned at the end of battle. We have enhanced drops. Equipment dropped by enemies has a chance of being enhanced. Half price enhancing. Halves the amount of gold required to enhance equipment. There's also double grade. Doubles the amount of grade earned at the end of battle. That's actually really, really nice. For like the next playthrough, you would get, you would have more grade, chances are, at the end of your playthrough to spend on another New Game Plus. Because, of course, you can keep doing these and stuff. Then there's also max HP plus 1,000, 1 and 2. So, you'll have an extra 1,000 HP each time you take that. So, but anyways, what you can do is you can go through and select all this stuff. Like, I would love to have triple and double XP. A little bit low there. But I want double grade and stuff. I don't know. But anyways, that's everything that you can put into your game. So whenever you start New Game Plus, you'll have a lot of the stuff that you carried over from your original playthrough. And then you can also have some of those nice bonuses for your next playthrough, like extra XP, extra, money and grade and all that good stuff. It does come in quite handy. And of course, double grade would be awesome for your next playthrough to kind of finish out, if you had the equipment proficiency, kind of cleaning up everything that you missed along the way. I do know that we did not get the achievement for getting 95% of the items in the game. Of course, that includes equipment and stuff. And whenever I looked, we had close to 800 pieces of items and stuff that we'd found. So I don't know where 95% of that is. Probably closer to 1,000 pieces, items in the game. I don't know for sure though. I do know that includes equipment, and I know that each character should have, every character or gender, depending, should have boots, should have chests, should have a weapon, and etc. for every rarity up to 21. So I do know there was a lot of rarities where we didn't find anything, like maybe 1 or 2 pieces for people. So that's probably where most of our missing items are, is within equipment. Chances are about all of them. But anyways, with that, I do believe that I'm going to end this episode out here, and with that, also end this series out here, because we've pretty much done everything within the game. Like I said, there's a few skits and stuff like that, but for the most part, we have done everything that Tales has to offer to us. So, and we actually got the majority of the achievements. There's a few achievements left. It's stuff like hitting level 200, which would be a second playthrough with maybe 6 times XP. That would be a little bit more reasonable. Chances are it would be extremely hard to hit level 200 in your first playthrough. Because, we ended out the game, we were close to level 100. Now, I will say, as closing statements for this game, I kind of stuck with my original opinion of the game, like earlier on, is still pretty much the same. I do love the story of this game. For a Tales game, I think it's very, very good. I won't say it's my favorite RPG story ever, but it is very, very good. And on a Tales standard, it's up there. I was very, very pleased with it. Now, combat-wise, from the perspective of a Tales game, there was some aspects for me that were a bit disappointing. I feel like the world was very empty a lot of times, and the encounters for the most part were a little bit uneventful and a little bit unexciting. I know that we could have bumped the difficulty up even higher, but even on a moderate, more like mid-range difficulty type play, even still I feel like that it was a bit lackluster in that regard. There just wasn't, as we progressed, I never felt like there was any encounters that we would have to come back to. Even if we had been on a higher difficulty. The only exception maybe being like the Harbinger of the End, maybe that. But that's just because we unlocked in-game, didn't know exactly which way to go first, I think is. But there wasn't any encounters through like the main quest and stuff that I felt like we had to come back to, like rare hunt mobs or anything like that. Whereas, I won't say all the Tales. I know in more recent installments, like Tales and like Zestiria and stuff, I feel like they're kind of moving more to that almost more casually-ish to me. It's kind of the way I put it. Whereas that's one reason I point out Vesperia so much. I absolutely loved that game, as well as the games that came around that time frame. More so from an exploration and combat basis. One thing that disappoints me, and it was an instant disappointment on this one, is the fact that they don't have the world map anymore. I love world map exploration. You know, that's really, really common with, especially older RPGs. I know, like, Final Fantasy moved away from it. Tales has moved away. You know, a lot of the big RPG series have moved away from it, and it's more of like a, I guess, more of like a instant gratification, linear progression system through the game, which is somewhat disappointing to me. I mean, I know even with world map, it wasn't completely free roam. It wasn't like, let's start the game, let's go to the end game area. But it feels, you know, the feeling is more boxed in, more linear to you. And I'm still disappointed that they have taken that away from Tales. You know, used to, I loved the world map. I loved getting your boat and, you know, actually being able to get out on the ocean and sail and things like that. But, I don't know. I mean, with Berseria, in some ways, I don't mind it as much because the story was so enthralling. And it really was a roller coaster ride with the story aspect from the beginning to the end, and I never felt like the story lulled at all. And it was great because there would be points where it would ramp up. If you recall when we fought Oscar, right, and killed him and his sister, that's when the story like really started to ramp up. And it really never, to me, it never let off after that point, because it was just like bam, 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 like all this stuff was happening. And I thought that was very well executed. And I don't feel like there was really a boring part in the story for me. You know, it flowed so nicely, and it was so beautifully executed. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But like I said, I mean, combat is the point where I would knock it. I feel like combat and exploration aspects of Tales in the most recent installments has been a little bit lackluster, but I feel like they're pushing more for the story. So I guess maybe it's a trade-off. I kind of wish you could have the best of both worlds, but at the same time, I feel like if they focused on the exploration and the combat and made, you know, more like longer dungeons and dungeons filled with battles and things like that, which I would like to see from a combat aspect, I feel like it would be harder to deliver on the story, because what made this Tales game so memorable for the story to me was it flowed so well. It felt like, you know, I would sit down to record and there was stuff happening every episode. You know, there was really no lull to it, which was great. I mean, in like a 30-minute time frame, granted I edited out a lot of the combat and stuff, but even still, I could sit down and in just a few hours of play, story stuff is happening every time. Whereas with something that was more combat exploration focused, you would have those times where you would sit down and go to play, and it would be, you know, maybe 5 or 6 hours before anything story related happened. So I feel like it's a trade-off. It's hard, I think, to have have both worlds as far as that goes. Especially with something like Tales, when they're trying to push the story because they want stuff to happen, you know, consistently. They want skits going on. They want all the cutscenes and everything, which is great. So even though I knocked it on the combat and exploration, I also understand why that is the way it is. So I feel like it really lends itself to the story a lot better. In a lot of aspects, to me, it's more like an interactive movie sort of thing. So I can't say I've fallen out of Tales at all, because I still think their games are spot on. I just know I've noticed that they've made that change over the past few years with the more recent installments. So, but I know a lot of games are taking that route now too. So it is what it is. Also, the in-game dungeon. A couple quick notes about that. I did enjoy the in-game dungeon. I thought it was a neat concept. But I also feel like after all those floors, it got really, really redundant to me. I don't like the speed runny combat battle thing. I wish for the in-game dungeon, that's one specific time, I wish they would have taken the time to make a really big, memorable dungeon. You know, they've done that in the past with Tales games where it's been almost like a whole new chapter of the game after the game, right? And you go through these dungeons and they're long, definitely not 3 episodes or whatever we ended up spending in there. It's more like, 20 hours or something like that. It's really, really long is what I'm getting at. And the story of the dungeon is separate unto itself, and it's very impactful, and it's almost like, a whole separate storyline. Where this one, I feel like, I thought the stuff was interesting they presented with the Seraphim and the Malachim. It's really, really interesting stuff. But I just don't feel like it was really connected to us at all. And even Velvet at the end, she was like, I don't care. And, just left, and then they kind of ended out with kind of a funny thing with the cats, which was cool. I enjoyed that. But I feel like the whole cat spa could have been implemented somewhere else and had that dungeon take a little bit more of a serious tone and impactful. Even, honestly, I would have loved to have seen them, there was that really short, 2 cutscene quest about Artorias' past. I would have loved to have seen them build a dungeon around that, around the past of Artorias or something, and Claudin and all that stuff. It's very, very interesting stuff that they could have expanded on, but instead they did a dungeon that's really not something in a year or two I'm not going to look back and think, oh, that was a really good dungeon. Whereas some of the past Tales games have done really, really memorable dungeons, so I can sit and think, that was a really good dungeon when I think about it. So I feel like, that would have been nice to have kind of built upon a little bit more as well. Not to say it's not enjoyable, but it was also, I don't know, kind of annoying at times. Just the whole speedrunning thing, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. And the story just didn't lend itself. The boss battles, though really, really cool boss battles, really didn't have anything to them. I don't feel like there was a whole lot of effort put into them. Even the final dragon that we fought was just like, here's a dragon. He's a reskin of a dragon you fought in Enominat. So that, I was kind of disappointed in that. I would have loved to have seen, maybe whenever you killed the dragons, you found out a little bit more about who they were when they were Seraphim/Malachim. Something like that would have been really, really awesome. But instead, they just threw some big monsters at us and said, here you go, and we'll tell you a little bit of story after you kill each one. I feel like that could have been executed a little bit better. I thought it was a nice touch, but with a game that had such good story for the main story and stuff, I feel like the end I would have liked to have seen another smaller story arc with that final dungeon. Instead, they took a very comical tone, I feel like, with the end game this time, with the Dark Turtles and the Harbinger of the End stuff. I didn't really think was too serious. It was basically just battle, and then, oh, you made the right decision. And there was a Ping-Yuan. So, I don't know. That stuff. And then they had a little bit of interesting stuff that I thought was really, really cool, like Artorias' past and stuff, and I would have loved to have seen that stuff expanded a little bit more, personally. I like the whole comical aspect with the spa and everything, but I think it could have been separated a little bit more instead of it being the ending of that big in-game dungeon, Anyways, other than that, I think the game was spot on. I think the music was good. I think the graphics were great. I think the use of the animated cutscenes was great. And they actually used those a bit more than I've seen in the past, which was awesome. Because I remember a time when Tales, it had those really, really pretty openings with all those animated cutscenes, but once you actually got into the game, there was very, very few animated cutscenes. We're talking 2 or 3. And I'm glad to see them using those a little bit more. I still would like to see more of them, but of course, they do what they can, I think, so I don't have any qualms with that. I do see that they're kind of expanding on it and stuff. And the end of the main game, that cutscene, was really, really long and so excellently done. It was great. But yeah, the main thing, like I said, my main qualms is the in-game aspect of it was a little bit short-lived and not really relevant to a lot of things, I feel like. And then the combat exploration, but like I said, I feel like that's also a trade-off for the story aspect and the story focus, which I do quite like that. So it was also fairly short, I think, for a Tales game. because we ended up with 96 hours, and that's pretty much doing all the in-game and stuff, which is very, I guess it's on the shorter side for Tales, but once again, the recent installments have been that way too. So, you know, Berseria, I remember getting lost in that in the first playthrough for well over 100 hours, but I mean, you've got a more combat-focused game versus a more story-focused game, so I should quit comparing the two, honestly. So, but anyways, with that, I am going to end out this series. Of course, if you guys have any questions or anything, comments, leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I know there's been a fair few of you that have been right along, you know, on the ride with me and everything, and I've had a lot of fun. There's been a lot of like theory talk and stuff like that, especially earlier in with the story and how everything would play out and everything. I'm still disappointed. I remember there was a comment, and I can't think of who put it, but it was quite a few episodes ago. I'm thinking like 30 episodes ago or 40 or something like that. But I still wish, you know, the comment was that it'd be really, really cool if at the end, if Eisen flipped his coin and it actually landed on heads. I still think that would have been awesome to see, but also knowing what's in store, because of course keep in mind that Zestiria happens after Berseria. Knowing what all's in store with Zestiria and how a lot of these characters from Berseria are impacted, well, you know, a few of them anyway, and how things play out and whatnot, and side characters and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it ended off on a really, really good note, and it fits in well with Zestiria. But yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the series and the episode and all that jazz, I guess. And yeah, if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. I'm not 100% sure what's going to go in place of Berseria for the time being. I will say that later on in the year, for those of you that are familiar with the game Ni no Kuni, Ni no Kuni is slated to receive a sequel later this year. And chances are it's probably going to be around fall or winter is what I'm betting, maybe around Christmas. But I will say that when Ni no Kuni 2 does come out, we will be doing Ni no Kuni 2. Day one, I'm going to be on that. Ni no Kuni is one of, in more recent years, Ni no Kuni is one of my absolute favorite RPGs. It's amazing because it's an interesting mix. If you take like the standard RPG format and then you throw in semi like Pokemon style combat format to it, and just you have like human characters that can cast spells, but they can also control these creatures, and also the story is really, really well done. If you're familiar with Studio Ghibli, they actually do, you know, the animations and stuff. They also have a lot of tie-ins with the game and stuff. That's like in the first Ni no Kuni, there was a lot of references to like Totoro and Porco Rosso and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited to see Ni no Kuni 2. And from what I've seen of it thus far, it looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see more, you know, more stuff on it. I may even, as time gets closer, as we get more information, I may even give you guys updates and show a little bit of the coverage and stuff for that. Because it's definitely a game that I've been following for a bit and I'm super, super excited about. But like I said, I mean, that's later this year, so I don't know for sure for the time being what's going to take the place of Berseria. But we shall see. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I've enjoyed having you guys along for the ride and everything. So, anyways, until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.